All right, what's up, guys? This is episode 37 of the Master of One podcast, East Atlanta Championship 3. So we just had the third tournament, our third monthly tournament, big one. It went really, really well. Before I get into that, let me just say one thing real quick. Shout out to Dana White, the I guess CEO of the UFC, the guy who runs the UFC. He does a great job running a great business, and I learned a lot from just watching him. I listened to all his post-fight interviews about how he breaks down what went on, answers questions. Sometimes he can be a little bit aggressive when he's attacked, but also some people ask him really bad questions. So I understand why he gets so annoyed sometimes. But a really big shout out to him for kind of laying the blueprint of taking something from something that's beginning and small to something that's become very, very successful. It's about frequency, it's about quality, and it's about showing respect to the fighters and the other people. Like, one great example of this is Joe Rogan said, "When Dana White retires, I retire." That is respect, because he knows he did such a good job, and that he will go if he goes, because that's respect. So you're going to see a couple of times throughout this episode that I'm really trying to take care of the people who take care of me and really respect the people who have made this happen, and who have supported this along the process. So big shout out to that. And then the other thing I want to say before I get into the actual detail of the tournament are, one of the best things about running tournaments or putting on big events is you get these moments that just basically, the best way to say it is, it warms your heart. You just get like all fluffy inside, and you're like, wow, that was amazing. Like, I'm really glad that person is so happy because of something that I could have done. It's like charity, it's like donation, but seeing it without actually doing anything, as in like giving a donation, but just doing a good thing, being kind to people, understanding, and then they thank you, and it's just a great thing to see. But you'll see some specific moments later on. So East Atlanta Championship number 3, there were 41 players. The championship section was won by Jonathan Hrach, 2300. Also, he is the one who's developing the website, so it's really cool because he was just doing it out of kindness and the fact that he loves coding and making websites. And we weren't even gonna pay him. It was just like he's a homie, so he's doing it for us. But he won $600, so this is basically our way of saying like, hey, thanks. And I mean, he played a good tournament, played some good games, had one really tough struggle, but he's a good chess player. He knows what he's doing, and he's really getting back into chess too. These last 2 tournaments that he played have been the last 2 tournaments he's played in about 4 years. So he really is supporting us, and I'm glad that he got to win the tournament and win money. Now, under 1800 was won by Hank Deslaurier. He's actually a student of mine, so it's great to have a student win. And then under 1400 was won by Ciprian, Bodea, and Tonic, who are both students of mine. So it's always great to see my students do well and succeed. And I'll get into this a little bit later, but with every good couple of students, there were some just tough tournaments for some people, and that's going to happen, and I will address that a little bit later. Now, performance bonuses. This is something new, and this is something I got directly from the UFC. If someone does a really good job, Dana White gives them a bonus, and I think that makes a lot of sense. You want to reward people, because sometimes you don't win a prize, you gain rating, and it feels good, but you came sport our event, you did a good job, we want to take care of you. So James Altucher gets a bonus. He had a great tournament. He drew both 2300s. He beat everyone else. And he had kind of had a rough patch a little bit recently. And now he's gained like 60, 70 points in the last 2 tournaments. He actually won the last Tuesday tournament as well. So he's really on a heater right now. Chris Chambers also, he had a bye first round. He had car trouble, and then he won all his other games. He beat Damien. He drew Ethan. He drew Ethan, and then he beat someone else who was good too. So it's really cool to see. Like, normally they always say older players, as they get older, they get worse, and they can't beat the kids. But both James and Chris were good proof that that's not necessarily the case. Both of them beat really good kids, and that is why he's getting a bonus. Kevin Rojas he was 1800. He beat Andrew round 2. He had a crazy game with Jonathan round 3 where it could have literally gone either way. They both had like 10 seconds left, and then Jonathan, I think he lost on time, Kevin did, but still a really good game. And first round he beat Shunker in another very beautiful game. So he's gonna get a bonus. Jack Ramsey, who's 1300, he scored 3 out of 4 in the under 1800 section. So he's gonna get a bonus. He unfortunately beat 3 of my students, which says a lot. He beat 3 good ones too. So he definitely earned the bonus, and good work to him. Kudos to him, and my students will be back and stronger for the next one. Cole Fiegel also gets a bonus. He played a great tournament. He scored 3 out of 4, was 3 out of 3, and then lost to Hank in the last round. And that was a pretty crazy game, very slow, grindy game until Hank sacrificed an exchange in a very precise way too. So I'm sure he's very happy, but Cole will also get a bonus. And then this leads to the next topic of storylines. So as a coach, as a chess player, and as a promoter or an organizer in Atlanta, I know a lot of people who play in the tournaments. I know a lot of parents who are part of the tournaments too. And it's always crazy during the tournaments. It's every round there's another storyline. Or every tournament there's one guy who has the best tournament ever. One guy who has an okay tournament. One guy who has a bad tournament. So it's basically living a movie. That's what it feels like. Which is honestly a pretty cool life to live, not gonna lie. But it's why I really do my best to not get too attached to the results of my students. If I do that, it gets really hurt watching some games. And of course, I feel good and I feel happy when my students are successful. But if I feel that happy when they're successful, then I'm going to feel that sad when they have a tough tournament. So I try to stay a little bit out of it and just really focus. And this is literally what I tell everyone. Everyone who tells me they want to play chess, everyone who tells me they had a bad tournament, they had a good tournament, I just say work hard. Work hard. Just keep working hard and attack your weaknesses. That is how you guarantee growth. I've been teaching chess for about 8 years now. I've definitely got a lot better in the last 8 years and really hit my stride, and I say the last 2 or maybe a year and a half. And those are the 2 guaranteed ways to get better. You work hard, you put in the hours, and the other thing is don't make the same mistakes. You have to fix things. You have to change things if things aren't working. And because if you work really hard and you're just doing the same things, you can see a little bit of improvement. You're going to be a little bit more efficient in certain things, but you're still going to get these situations where you're going to be way worse in this position, or way worse against this type of player, or way worse when this happens. But if you really attack the weaknesses and figure out, okay, next time I'm here, I'm not going to make the same mistake. One thing that I saw a lot, and I'm going to stress it a million times, when you get a winning position, you got to win. You did all the hard work. And what I've been telling my students recently, which I can't really guarantee if it works or not yet, but because it's literally that recent. But when you have a winning position, you got to tell yourself, okay, I'm rich now. I don't live like I'm broke. I don't live like I'm poor. Because there's 2 very different lifestyles. And this is coming from experience. Before, I didn't have much money. I'm not going to say I have a lot of money now, but I'm making more money. And I've noticed that the mindset really shifts. You're not paying in full. You're not pushing payments off. You're doing everything on time. And then as you get richer and richer, you do things ahead of time. You have an accountant. You have a trainer. You have all these different things to expedite the process. So let me tie this back to chess. When you have a winning position, tell yourself, okay, now I'm rich. I don't have to do the gambles that I was doing before. I don't have to take the risks that I was doing before, which is why I say really, really, really try to trade pieces and simplify. Keep it simple. The more complicated, the more crazy things are happening. And that's what you do when you have a losing position, actually. If you have a losing position, that's when you start making gambles and taking risks because you have nothing to lose, which it goes both ways. It can be a good thing in a losing position to take risks. Otherwise, you're just going to lose. And it could be, in just the same way, it can be a bad thing to take a risk in a winning position because you didn't have to do that, and now you can lose when before you couldn't lose. So I think that's very, very important. I saw it a lot this tournament, and I think that if you want to get better, you got to find a way to fix that. Another thing that I'll say is very important is getting good sleep. So this is, I don't know if there's a scientific explanation for why getting good sleep is good. I mean, I'm sure there's a million, but what I see directly when it correlates to chess is later in the game, in the tough games, in the tough battles, if you get good sleep, you're going to be wide awake and have more energy. Another thing is early in the game, if you don't get good sleep, you're just going to be going through the motions. You're not going to be sitting there enjoying the game, enjoying the moment, and really focusing. That is the difference between good sleep and bad sleep, from what I've seen and what I've lived to. I mean, I've had a lot of tournaments where I haven't slept well. And then state championship was one of the tournaments that I slept really well. didn't go out, do anything crazy. Went to bed on time, got there, did my thing, took care of business. And all those games are fighting games. None of those games I really, I think one of them was like a knockout. But all the other games, like I had to go to battle and really make things happen. And definitely having the good sleep, being focused, being determined, that helped a lot in those tough battles. So 100%, I think getting good sleep is very important too. So this is actually the next thing I want to talk about is one of the warm your heart kind of moments. So after the tournament, one of the players, I don't know if I should say names or not. I'm just going to not to. But he said, I could really tell you guys like care about the chess players. Like that's how you guys run this tournament. It's chess player focused. And that warms my heart because I am a chess player. So I understand like the things that you're going to face during the tournament. The problems, the obstacles. So we really try to make it as good as possible for the chess players. Like we actually end up getting snacks twice. We got a lot of water, got a lot of snacks. That's one. The performance bonuses are another. The lunch break. I'm really like 50-50 on the lunch break. I'm not saying 50-50. It's more 70-30. I think the lunch break is a good idea. But maybe it's a little bit too long. But that being said, we had lunch, and I actually didn't even have time to eat because by the time we got the food, I had to leave. Me and Carter both had to leave to get the tournament paired. So thank God we had a lunch break, or otherwise I wouldn't even have time to order. Now, this actually is another good tie-in to the next topic, and it's the 10,000 hours rule. So I got this from Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers. Like everyone who's at the top of their field, the savants, the best people, they just put in a lot of hours, a lot of reps. Like the two examples that I'm going to bring up are one back in the day when coding and computer science were really, really fresh. Michigan, I think, had the best people who did computer science. And the reason why is because they had a lab that was open to everyone. And there was some kind of trick where you could basically be at the lab all day. So this is the only place where people could basically code all day. And that gave them a huge advantage and made Michigan the best school. And then the other example that I'm going to explain more clearly and better is Bill Gates. So Bill Gates, the reason that he was so good at computer science and knew how to code and everything was he went to a good school and they had a mother's club that funded a computer science program. So they were already coding way earlier before college. They were getting all those reps in. And then I think maybe towards the second half of high school, there was a company who needed software developers to do payroll for them. So he ended up doing this in high school too. So by the time he was, I think, a sophomore in college, I think that's when he dropped out, he had already been coding for like 6 years, which is more than everybody who has a 4-year degree out of college. So already, by the time he was a sophomore, he was a better, more experienced computer scientist than everyone else in college. So the reason I'm tying this in is I have been running chess tournaments for a very, very, very long time. Actually, I'm not going to say very, very long time, but the amount of tournaments I've been running is very, very high. So I would say Georgia Tech, man, I'm getting old, but I think 2016 is when I went to college. That's insane. But basically, I started running chess tournaments junior year of college. And the story of actually how I started running chess tournaments is we just had the chess club and we needed to run tournaments. Or we wanted to run tournaments. And we had to pay someone to do the software. And it was expensive. Like it was like for a weekend tournament, we'd have to pay them like $400. So one day or one tournament, I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to buy the software. I'm going to try to do what I can. And I'm going to learn and try to run tournaments. And there were a lot of hiccups along the way, definitely a lot of mistakes. But you push through, you figure it out, you give people free entry if you mess up or something happens, or you just make the most of the situation, and you get better and better and better. And then for the last year, I have been running tournaments every Tuesday. And for the last 2 months, I've been running tournaments every Wednesday. So I basically, every month, I run about 8 to 9 tournaments. So I am getting those reps in. I'm getting a lot of reps in and learning. And definitely still a long way to go, still making errors. Though, to be fair, not really making many errors, like knock on wood. And a lot of it is planning. Planning is very important, and I learned that from making a lot of errors. But also, I can tell that my intuition for running tournaments is very, very high. I have very good intuition. Like, my memory just kind of like knows, okay, this guy said a buy. I'm going to put the buy in. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Like, it's seeing mistakes happen before they happen and like really bouncing, like attacking the weaknesses. Like I say in chess, same thing in business, same thing in running chess tournaments, same thing in sports. Like, you know where you're going to make a mistake, or you know where you've been known to make mistakes, or where common mistakes happen. And since I've been doing it a long time and getting a lot of reps in, my intuition is covering for me. It's like my tactical sense is very, very sharp. Now, I'm not saying that I can't get better. There's more stuff to do, and that's actually the next phase, improvements that we did, improvements that are going to happen in the future. But after reading Malcolm Gladwell's book, I can see that actually makes sense. By getting so many reps in, by doing so many tournaments, I'm like Bill Gates back in high school. I'm already ahead of everyone else because I've done so many tournaments and I started young. And then now I can teach people. And that is one thing that is an improvement that I need to do, is I was trying to get Carter to do round 3, but lunch was running really late. And when it gets last minute, like, I really want to be the kind of tournament organizer who starts rounds on time, like as much as possible. Like, more than 20 minutes late is really bad. Like 5 minutes late is okay, but really on time is the goal. And this is also why I don't try to do 10-minute spiels for announcements. I try to go quick, because you spent your whole day, you have plans after, or you have plans in between. So I want to get you the best product as quickly and efficiently as possible. So that's why I couldn't really have Carter do so much today. He did do a good amount though. Like, he was doing a lot of stuff, and he did use the software more. I think he finished the last round as well. But ideally, eventually, I want him to basically do what I can do, just as good, but learn it way faster than I did. And my experience is how I'm going to teach him and have him get better. And that's, I mean, yeah, one of the big improvements that you're gonna hear about later is how we're gonna help that. But yeah, the tournament ran very smoothly, very efficiently, but it was also pretty kind of last minute, not like last minute, but the rounds finish and the next round start. Round finish, next round start. So we didn't have that much time to, just like sit back, relax, and pair the next round. All right, so the next section that I want to talk about for East Atlanta Championship 3 is the improvements that we did from the past tournament. So the last tournament, I think we had $900 in prizes, so that got bumped up to $1,500. So we had a whole section. We added a whole big prize. We improved the first place prize in the open section from $500 to $600. So that was one big improvement. Another one, we have a lunch sponsor and we had an after party sponsor. Now the lunch sponsor, actually I'll talk about this and how the future improvements. It was great. The food was really good. I guess you kind of have to get there early to get your food fast. But we also had a big table, so I understand things happen and it's hard. But I got to get your food, and we got to be back before 4 o'clock. That way we can pair the game. So we'll work on that. The after party sponsor was great. He's a super cool guy. I met this guy, Armando. Very nice, very supportive. They want to do more, which is, as an organizer, it just, once again, it warms your heart. When you don't have to, like, when the pressure is off and you don't have to prove something and be like, all right, do we get enough people here? Do we do enough? Do you like us? Like, when they're just like, dude, we got you. We arrived at you. You did a good job. We're going to keep helping and you keep helping us. And it's like the pressure's off and now we can really try to grow it more and more and more. And it is the first time that we've had this sponsor. So the more times we do it, the more we're going to be ready and have a plan for helping them out. So that was really great. And he knows a lot of the businesses in East Atlanta, so now we can get a real community and a team behind us, and that means we're going to be able to do more. More money you have, the more things that you can do for the community, the chess players, and for the businesses around you. Like, let's not forget, if you're a sponsor, you take care of us, we take care of you. We need to help you out. Like, that is my that's on me, or not on me, but on us as an organization and a group. And all the people involved, me, Carter, Drew, and everyone else, Lisa, to help them because they helped us, which I think is very important. All right, what else? So clocks, we added logos on the clocks. I will say it was kind of janky, and we should have done it the night before. But it was a new thing, so once again, it's going to improve. But we did do it. There were clocks with with all the logos on the back. So that will get better and better. We already locked in the second date, so I actually have to release that today. One of my students keeps asking me, hey, can I sign up? Hey, can I sign up? Hey, can I sign up? I'm like, yo, I'm going to make it. Don't worry. It's going to happen. So, as a coach, that's really good news. It makes me really happy that he's so excited to play. So I got to get back to work after this to make that happen. Another thing that we add is performance bonuses. Probably the best thing to do for performance bonuses, and I have to talk this over with the other guys, is if you get a performance bonus, you get free entry into the next tournament, which can be, the idea was to give them $50, but if you get a performance bonus, that can be anywhere from $30 to $60. So you could be actually making more money by getting a performance bonus and free entry, and that also gives back to the tournament, because now if you get free entry, you're probably going to play, or you're more likely to play, and then it just cycles back, and now you're going to have more people. So we actually gave out a bunch of free entries this tournament, which I'll get into actually very soon. Yeah, so very soon. Actually, let me just say no. Why am I'm sticking to the script too much? But that's the idea for performance bonuses. Now, something that we did the week of, and some thinking to do on the timing of this, but we hit up the GT Chess Club, the Emory Chess Club, Checkmate Monday, ATL Chess Club, maybe one more. And we basically said, you get 3 free entries. I want you to give it out to whoever you can. And if you get 3 more with your promo code, then you get a $50 bonus. And we got about, I think, 6 people from this promotion, which is great. More people, better tournament. And I guess the counterpoint would be like, hey, if you give out so many free entries, how are you going to make money? But I think the best way to make money and run a good business is to put on a good event and have as many people come as possible. The more people come, the more other people come. And this is why making a list or having the different prices at different dates is so important. $30 for the first price deadline, you're going to have 10 to 20 people sign up. And once people see that 20 people are already signed up, now more people are going to sign up. Now, once you get to 50 people, it gets to the point where like everyone in Georgia is like, okay, this tournament is so big and so good, I have to go play because it's going to be worth my time and I'm going to see so many other people there. So yes, you give out a bunch of free entries, but you're going to get it back with the more signups that come. And really that's what the sponsors want to see too. The more people, the more leverage you have and the more ability you have to spread the word or spread information about the company. So that's going to be a real selling point for the next one. Now, I don't know if we should do it early or late. That's something that I have to talk it over with the other guys. But definitely, I think it was a good idea. And it got also a diversity and a variety in the people that played. Now we can say that we have Georgia Tech students playing in the tournament. We can say that we have Emory students playing in the tournament. We can say that. And then also, we're promoting these places, the Georgia Tech Chess Club, the Atlanta Chess Club, Checkmate Mondays. So they're also getting value out of it too, where more people are going to hear about what they're doing. So once again, it's a win-win for everyone, and that's how business should be. This is actually one of the big points of 7 Habits of a Successful Person, of highly effective people. Get win-win situations. That way, everyone's happy, and you're both growing. And growth is what we all strive for. So got this, performance bonuses, sponsors. Yeah, sponsors are great. Really big shout out to EACA and EABA for helping us out, doing so much, and really spreading the word. And you help us out, we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna do more stuff. So I'll get this in the future improvements. So Branan. So this is our 3rd time being at Branan, and we're here every Wednesday. So we are donating $100 to Branan Towers for everything they do. I think someone broke this ice scoop, and someone was mad about it, one of their residents. And once I told the organizer, the person who runs Branan, they're like, oh, no problem. It's going to be so cool. Thank you so much. Can you meet this guy? So you take care of us. We take care of you. So we're donating back to them, and hopefully they can use this money to do something for the residents. And once again, we get another win-win situation. So wins all around. That's exactly what we want. The snacks were good. We do double down on snacks, and we tried something new. We made a tip jar, and I actually got this from one of my students who said, like, you should add a tip option on entry fees. That way people are like, hey, I'm going to support you. I'll do extra. Like, here you go with this. Like, that's cool. And then I was like, all right, cool. That's cool. That makes sense. And let's do that with the snacks too. And we made $2 on the tip jar. Spent about $150 on snacks and water and stuff. $2 the way there. So, I mean, probably we'll just leave it there. I mean, why not? People want a tip. Maybe we'll just leave the $4. I actually don't even know where the $4 is. Maybe I put it in my wallet. Maybe it's still there in the box. I don't know. But yeah, we'll leave that there, and I'll have it on Wednesday too, which actually I think makes a lot of sense. All right, so now future improvements. So that's basically improvements from the last tournament. Now this is the improvements that we're going to be looking to make for the next one. All right, so setting up. So we made it. We did a good job. We set up everything on time. But definitely, when I walked in, I was a little bit stressed. So we did a bunch of prep work the night before, which is great. Huge step in the right direction. And if we hadn't done that, Saturday could have been maybe a disaster. So because we did so much prep work the night before and I got good sleep, like I was like, all right, I'll get there at 9:15. We'll have some people there. The tables be good. And we'll set up quick. And then we'll get the pairings out early and everyone's going to be happy. But the problem was I got there at 9:15 and nobody was there. And we were short like 6 tables. And there's no one there to help set up. So I was like, oh my God. So you got to do what you got to do. Ask security guard, hey, can I get tables? We got tables. Boom, did that thing. Got all the sets out. And then, thank God, people started showing up. And the GOAT, Daniel Mingle, the man, the myth, the legend. This kid was all over helping out. I asked him once, like, hey, can you help out? He's like, I don't know, I guess. And then he's a student of mine, so I wouldn't normally just ask randoms, but I asked my student. He said, yeah, I'll help. And then after he set up 2 sets, he was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. How can I do more? What can I do more? Can I do this? Can I do this? Can I have a cookie for helping? And I was like, dude, you can have all the cookies you want. Like, so him and a couple others, like, really started setting up all the sets. I got to get the pairings up. I got everything printed. We got the clocks out. We got the board numbers out. So thank God for the community. I couldn't do this without them. I'm going to say that a million times. But thanks to that, we were able to start, I think, at 10:05. So we did start like 5 minutes late. And this is one of the funniest parts that I'm still stressed. I'm like doing this, calling this person, texting this person, figuring this out. Someone wants to sign up, but they signed up. So I'm doing all this, and then clearly I'm busy. And some guy just comes up to me. He's like, so what do you think about laptop batteries, huh? Like, what do you think about this? What do you think of this? I'm like, bro, I didn't say anything, but I think I answered and while I was doing the work. But like, dude, read the room, read the situation here. We got a huge event that we got to run, and I definitely look stressed. I was stressed, and I probably look stressed. Please don't come talk to me about laptop batteries or what you think about the weather tomorrow or like random things. Someone else asked me something this, then another guy asked me this. Like, this is why Dana White is bald, because like you got all these things happening. You got to do good, otherwise like people are gonna be like, what is this? Something like this. Like, fortunately, there's literally been these tournaments have been the easiest, which also helps with all the reps and the intuition. But I've seen tournaments become disasters. I've seen tournaments have to cancel a whole round, pay back entry fee, do things like we start like an hour late or something like that. So I know how bad it can be, and that is why like when I got there at 9:15 and I saw how much we have to do, I was locked in. I was focused on getting things ready by 10. So if you see someone stressed and working, like, and there's a big deadline coming up, like 10 a.m. and it's like 9:50, please don't ask them random questions. Please, if there's anything, you ask them, hey, how can I help? Can I do anything? Which a lot of people did. A lot of people did that, especially at the end. It was really cool. It was really great. But it's going to happen. So announcements. I did write down the announcements the night before, but I think I could have thought through a little bit better and planned it a bit better. Car's girlfriend came just to see us do the gong to start the round, and we did the gong rounds 3 and 4, but since everything was last minute and since we're hustling, we forgot to do the gong to start round 1. So that's gonna be part of the announcements. And once again, it's new, so the more times we do it, just like the more reps for tournaments, the better you run a tournament. The more reps for all these different things, the more smooth and efficient they're gonna be. Now this is very important, goes with basically the last 2, but being early and planning ahead. Now we have been planning ahead. We've been trying to plan ahead, and been trying to be early. Like we didn't show up at 9:50. We showed up at 9:15, but that's gonna help a lot. So I saw this for lunch sponsoring and the after party sponsor. If you don't go straight to the place, if you're not already there, people are not as likely to go there. Like I saw this with lunch. A couple people definitely went, but a couple people were like, "Oh yeah, I'll go. I'm gonna go." And then I was cleaning up and doing stuff, preparing stuff, hanging out with my friends. And then I was like, "All right, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there." And then I get there, and like there were a couple people did go, but there were definitely a couple people who didn't go because I guess they didn't want to go alone, or it was a new place and they wanted to come with me. So I definitely need to find a way to already be there when things are happening. And same thing for the after party. There were definitely multiple people who were like, "Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there. I want to go. It sounds cool." But then I had to go home. I had to change. I had to drop the stuff off. And then by the time I got there, like it was already like too late. Like they had to go. They couldn't come, or maybe I just missed them. Once again, people did come, and Armando was very happy with the people that showed up. But I think that is something that we need to fit or improve for the next time. If we have a sponsor, if we're going to be there, we got to be there before everyone comes. And then I guess, you actually, once everyone's there, it's fine. But it's really that activation energy, the catalyst to get things going. And that is us saying that, hey, this is the sponsor, we want to be there. So we got to be there before they get there. Otherwise, we're going to lose some people along the way. So I think that's very important. And then for marketing. So this idea that I had for free promotions, basically I think we had like 30 people the week out, and like I really wanted to get fit to 50, and also there was the risk of if we get 30, like maybe we won't get to 40. So we had this free promotion idea, and it definitely got a lot of people. Now I have to figure out, should we do this from week 1, from week 2? Like when is the right time to do this? If we do it too early, then a bunch of people who are going to sign up anyway would just get free entries. But also they would get the cheaper free entry. And I feel like the free entry is to help people who don't want to pay $50 because it's too much. So maybe it would make sense to do it later. But once again, this is something that I can't decide for myself. It's a conversation that needs to happen. Another thing is, if it's your first tournament and you don't have USCF ID, I think it makes a lot of sense you get free entry, but you have to get membership. Because something I learned from also 7 habits of highly effective people is you need to think long term. You want to plan or work with an end goal in mind. And the end goal for Georgia is more people need to be USCF rated players. If there are more people USCF memberships walking around in Georgia, there will be more people at chess tournaments. So we need to make it as easy and seamless for people to join USCF and then start get the ball rolling. It's just like how we have to be there early for the sponsors. We have to help people in the beginning to get involved in chess, and then it just snowballs. Now you have friends. Now you have different tournaments to go to. Now you have events to go to. So we really need to make it as easy as possible in the beginning for people to get involved with chess. And then, like I said, it snowballs and gets better from there. Another future improvement that we're going to have, is USCF IDs. This is hard with the new format too. It's not as obvious, but I need to make sure that everyone's USCF membership is also not expired. Like there's 3 or 4 people that I have to hunt down. There's so many. But I have to hunt down and be like, hey, can you renew your membership? Hey, can you renew your membership? And I've had no problems. And this is something I've learned as a tournament director and doing this so much is worst case, I'll just take out all their games. So if you're like, dude, I had a bad tournament. I'm never going to renew my membership. 1, I'm going to have USCF call you so you know it's legit. And 2, I'm not going to have everyone else wait for you to renew your membership. I'm just going to take your games out and then boom, we're good to go. So I got to text these people basically Monday morning. I'll give until Monday night, and then boom, I'm gonna rate it, and it should be good to go. So, it would be nice though, and this is I think what's gonna happen when we have an actual website. Is this is already gonna be streamlined. This isn't gonna be something that we have to do the day of, or have to double check to make sure. It'll already be up to date and showing. Which goes to the next topic of a website and accounting. So like I said earlier, Jonathan is busy developing the website, making all these cool things, doing all these things that are going to be really super cool for us. So hopefully we can have that ready by June 17th. If not, it'll definitely be ready by the next one, I would say, which will be great. That would be amazing. Also, I won't have to pay for Wix. We can do more with this website because we have an actual developer. He's teaching Carter and this other guy how to do all this kind of stuff, coding. And he also says with ChatGPT, you can do so much. So that's also very cool. And I'm glad they're learning. I just only have so much bandwidth, so I'm not going to go into the coding realm and try to figure out what to do there. They got it. I trust them, and I'll do the front end kind of stuff. So yeah, developing website, that's going to add a lot of things, emails, payments, all these kind of things. So that is in the works. Also accounting. Everyone did make the payments pretty much, but I have to go check and make sure, like, okay, this guy did this guy did this guy did PayPal, this guy did Venmo, this guy did Zelle. So I have to do all that. So that's going to be way easier with the website as well. And I won't have to keep updating the list and checking who signed up. Even though I do get some dopamine every time I check and someone has signed up. It's like, oh yeah, someone signed up. And also it's kind of cool, like, randomly throughout the day, like, people just send me money, which is cool too. But it'd be way easier if there was a website that didn't have to do anything, and it was just streamlined. But it'll get better with more reps that we get. Now, the next future improvement that I think is very important is Wednesdays. So we have our Wednesday tournaments, and we have a couple regulars there. The Blitz tournament, though, like, I don't know, people don't like Blitz, I guess. Maybe that's USCF rated, I don't know. But I really believe in attacking the weaknesses, and right now, Saturdays are great. Saturdays are good. We got sponsors. We got people playing. Basically, a minimum 40 people will play these Saturday tournaments. And Wednesdays are now the thing that we need to work on. Like, instead of having 5 to 10 people show up every Wednesday, it needs to be 20 to 30. And then once we do that, like, to catalyze it, the next Wednesday, we're doing free pizza. And I do feel like a lot of people are going to just show up, get free pizza, and then never show up again. But ideally, we can get at least a couple people who are like, oh, this is cool. Thanks for the free pizza. Let me hang out. Let me play some chess. Let me maybe join USCF. Let me play the tournaments. And that, I think, is how we're going to improve Wednesdays. Also, if there's a local place with pizza, I would love to try to make a deal with them where, like, we'll still buy pizza, but they can be a sponsor. We can get some kind of special discount. And especially if it's walking distance, I won't have to drive and pick it up, or they can deliver it, but it'll be very win-win once again. That's the real goal. They get more business. People who are coming to East Atlanta every Wednesday are going to know about this pizza place. They have good pizza. Now people want to eat pizza at this place. So that is something that we need to do. And I need to hit that hard fast because we're ordering pizza for this Wednesday. And ideally, I can set something up or at least get the ball rolling for that this Wednesday. Because, I mean, I can pay for pizza, but I can't be dropping $100, $150 every Wednesday to get pizza. That would be a little unfortunate, I would say. So Wednesdays are the focus now. And also, I got to get this June 17th tournament up and running, so it's good to go. But yeah, those two things, and then I can finally focus on my big tournament coming up that I will get to later. That's another good thing about this tournament being over. Like, I was actually so happy after this tournament. Like, once again, there's a bunch of warms your heart kind of moments. We have to pay the kind of the promoter or the local guy, which is, I think he's been doing a phenomenal job. Shout out to Drew, and we gave him $100 for all the work he did, and he was very happy after. I rubbed his head a bunch of times. So that's also a nice thing that we got to take care of someone who's taking care of us, if that's the right way I said it. But that was another thing that we saw that happened out of that. Okay, so a couple more things real quick for future improvements. Our bathroom, we do need to figure out a way to get more bathrooms. There's only one bathroom or two bathrooms, and sometimes one of them is out of commission. So right now it's 40 people. Imagine there's 100 people. 100 people, one bathroom is going to be a problem. There's going to be lines out the wazoo. People can hold it in. Like, I wanted to make it like one of the moms came to me. It's like, hey, can you do something? And I wanted to make an announcement. Hey, if you're raising an adult, can you walk across the street and use the bathroom or something? I don't know if that's really feasible or possible, but we got to figure out some way to get public restrooms or more bathrooms. I don't know how we're going to do that. but it's something definitely on my mind that I'm going to try to work on. Another one is trophies. My plan was to get a trophy for first place, and for some reason, I was like, all right, I have all week to do it. I'll put it in order, and we'll get it next week. And then I realized, wait, the tournament's in 2 days. It's not in a week and 2 days. After that, so I went on Friday. I was like, well, we got a tournament tomorrow. I got $100. Is there any way I can get a trophy? And he's like, dude, it's tomorrow. So we're definitely gonna have trophies for the next one. Definitely gonna put some sponsors on that too, which would be great. And the last improvement that I want to do before the next is out of state. Definitely want to try to get people from other states to come, which means that we have to make it worthwhile. Which means maybe it has to be 2 days. I don't know. Like 4 rounds in 1 day is good. Or maybe we have to do some kind of event the second day. Something that would get, because people will come for a weekend, but coming for 1 day, I guess it depends. I mean, also, like, why not just come for Saturday and have fun and chill all Sunday? But I mean, part of it is marketing as well. We definitely need to market to other states. That way, other people know. Word of mouth is one way, but we need to figure out some kind of way to help encourage people from other states to come. Free entry if you're out of state. You came all the way, you get to play for free. That's it. Off the top of my head, that's an idea right there. And actually, last thing that I wanted to talk about, I swear this is the last one before I get into my chess training, is competition. So there were 2 other tournaments that went on Saturday. The other one was in Roswell Chess Zone. I think they had about 35 people, which is great. I'm happy that they could have a good event and we could have a good event. Ideally, it wouldn't be the same day, but that was the only Saturday we could do this month. Like, really, there's no other choice. And same goes for the next month. There's only one Saturday that we can do, so we're doing it that Saturday, June 17th. But it's good to see that other people can be successful while we're also doing something. I don't want this to be some cutthroat competition. Of course, I do want to get more people than them. That's just going to be natural. But I want, ideally, once again, we get a win-win, and both of them are successful. And somehow we should try to promote them, and hopefully they can promote us. And it doesn't become some war. It becomes a symbiotic, synergy type of business deal, adventure thing. Okay. So that's going to be it for the East Atlanta 2 recap. Sorry, man, I'm losing it. East Atlanta 3 recap. After this, I'm going to get into my chess training, my students' chess training, and then just some stuff at the end. My Miami Heat. All right, so on to the next one. All right, so the next section I'm going to talk about is my chess training, what I've been doing. Like I mentioned briefly before, I have a really big tournament coming up in Chicago. I've been working very hard for this, practicing every day. I took Saturday and Sunday off, but I literally just did chess all day, just didn't get to do my training. And tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday, like it's almost like boot camp the last 3 days. I've been doing a lot, but I'm really going to put it all together, sum it up, prepare, make my spreadsheets, and be ready for this big tournament. Now, first thing I want to talk about when it comes to this, the training that I learned from pretty much 2 books, or you could even say all the books at the same time. The first one was Grit by Angela Duckworth, and they talk about deliberate practice versus flow state playing. So deliberate practice is practicing with a plan, with an end in mind, with what I'm trying to do. What am I working on? Like, the chess comparison is you could just play blitz for 10 hours a day, and you might get a little bit better. You definitely get better reflexes. Or you can maybe play blitz for like an hour a day to practice getting reps in the opening. Then you could do endgame, read a book. Then you could do tactics, do your daily tactics. Then you could study Grandmaster games. Then you could do like a YouTube video, watch Grandmasters play with analysis. That is the difference between just mindlessly playing and playing with a goal in mind. I want to work on improving my endgames. I want to work with a plan to get my openings all together instead of just playing a bunch of blitz. And you see this with swimmers, with runners, with fighters. Like what a lot of fighters do is like they will train jiu-jitsu, they'll train striking, they'll train cardio, they'll watch tape. They're literally working on 4 different aspects, and this is just 4. There's more. There's sambo, there's judo. Most guys don't do more than, I would say, maybe 2 bases. Like they have 2 big bases, maybe a little bit of a third. But as you get better and better, like John Jones, he can do everything. He can wrestle. He can do jiu-jitsu. He has striking. He has Muay Thai. He has elbows. He is a complete fighter. And that is basically the goal that you want to get to. That is the Magnus Carlsen level. And you don't do that by just fighting every day, by sparring every day. If he just sparred every day, he would not be even close to as good as he is right now. And that is what playing blitz every day is pretty much like. And sometimes you're going to actually make yourself worse. You're going to ingrain bad habits by just playing a bunch. So that is why I think it's very important to practice deliberately. But then they made a good point where if you play deliberately, it is very hard to sustain that kind of level so much. Like, one of my favorite examples is when like Tom Brady is down like 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and scores like 21 points or 28 points in 10 minutes. You always ask yourself, like, why couldn't he just do that the whole game? And the reason it's so hard to do that the whole game is it's non-sustainable. If you go that hard, that focused for so long, you're going to overheat. You're going to run out of energy. You're going to gas yourself. It's like you see those fighters. If they go hard in round 1, they go to war. If they don't knock the guy out by round 3, they're gassed and they're running on steam. And that is where the idea of flow state playing is very important. So you practice deliberately to really, work on things. But when you play, you almost play like you're at peace, like you're painting. Like, the best way I kind of put it is like, if you had one more day with someone you loved who you're never going to see again, how would you spend that day? That's how you should play chess. Like, you have a grandparent, you have a parent, a brother, a friend, an ex-girlfriend, a girlfriend, a wife. You had one day with them that you'll never get again. Would you be doing this, doing that? I mean, you definitely be like focused, but you would also just be, I'm going to enjoy today. I'm going to have the best day that I can today because I will never see this person again. Or you could even, like, instead of doing it such a pessimistic way, imagine you had someone you loved and you only had one more day with them, and then you never got to see them again, which honestly is still kind of pessimistic. Not pessimistic, but just sad to think about. But it's also kind of beautiful to think about too, because that's how you should play a game of chess, and that's pretty much how you should live every day. I mean, not the whole, if this is my last day on Earth, or if I'm going to die, but let's say I got to plan one great day. If I got to do whatever I wanted for one day, what would I do? If I got to eat whatever food for 3 meals in one day, what would I get? I would definitely I wouldn't just go to Cookout 3 times in a day. I'd go somewhere nice for breakfast, go somewhere nice for lunch. I would really, like, plan it ahead, be present in the moment, enjoy the food, and I think that is how, it's a good way to think about chess. So when I go play in Chicago, I'm not going to be walking around. I might take a mental break here and there, but I will be fully focused on this game. I will be calculating. I'll be thinking. I'll be judging and assessing. And that's also how I've been preparing, which I think is very important. And this you see in every book. The book I'm reading right now is called The Talent Code, and they talk about how savants got so good so fast. How do people get really good really fast? So they talk about this big thing called myelin, which basically is how fast you can, or how well you can retain information or learn. I haven't finished the book. I'm actually still very early on. But basically, all the savants, what they did from a young age, where they just immersed in this topic. They basically, like, I think Mozart, by the age of 7, was already put in like 5,000 hours. So imagine by the age of 17, how good he's going to be. Whatever you do, like, if you want to be good at it, you really just got to do it a lot. Do it a lot, and learn. Don't make the same mistakes. Learn. If you do that, that's why I said work hard and attack your weaknesses. This is how I started this, and this is what I'm saying now. This is how you're going to get better. Got to put in the time, but you also got to be smart about the time you put in. So, yeah, that's my little spiel on how I'm trying to get better for Chicago. I also finished this chess book, Russian Primer. It's about 400 pages. It's a long book. A lot of good stuff. A lot of cool stuff. A lot of things I can teach my students, which I think is also great. So, finish that book. Finish 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Shout out Audible. Audible's really changed my life. I've read more books in the last month than I have in the last, 5 years because of Audible. And it doesn't even count as reading. I'm listening to, it counts as reading. I'm listening to it and I'm taking notes, which is my way of justifying that I'm not just cheating and listening to stuff. I do take notes and write stuff down so whenever I hear something good. That way I have some kind of track record of what I learned. I can go back. Like, when someone asks me, like, what did you learn from this? Well, I have it summarized and I have all these things going down. I can check my notes, and I've been doing this for my students and for chess and everything in general. Just writing stuff down. Because it is hard to remember everything. My strength is not my memory. I do not have a god memory where I can remember everything. But I have not gonna say God, but I have a very strong drive and a strong practicality. I'm very good at, I think, judging and assessing things. So to attack my weakness of having a bad memory, I try to be organized and write things down. And because I didn't do it, and I forget everything. Wouldn't do this, wouldn't do that, forgot about this, forgot about that. And then once I started writing stuff down, I've seen a huge level of progress. And other people like it too. Like, maybe it's not for everyone, but certain people were like, whoa, this is a great idea. I want to write everything down. Like, the best thing you can see as a teacher is when I say something, a lot of times I'm like, all right, write that down. But every once in a while, you'll have a student who's like, that's good. I'm going to write it down. And you're like, yes, you got it, man. Like, that's exactly how you want to look at learning and getting better. Studying with an end goal in mind. I've said this once again, a couple times throughout the podcast, but I have a plan for this tournament. I have a plan of what I need to do and what I need to get done and how I need to prepare. Now, the problem is time. I'm not going to say I'm running out of time because I'm pretty much taking the next 3 days off outside of, like, running tournaments. But running this tournament on Saturday did take a lot of time. Like, it takes a lot of preparation, a lot of things in the back end, a lot of phone calls, a lot of text messages, a lot of doing this. And all of this is taking time away that I could be using studying. Now, I did start out pretty early, about 2 months, maybe a month and a half ago, is when I started working with Richard. So I'm on a good pace. I could be on a better pace for sure. I could already have finished everything I need to finish the next 3 days and kind of just sit back and relax. But once again, this is a lot of progress from what it was before. It still has work to do. I'm not a grandmaster yet, obviously. And when I am, that's when I will be so on top of things. But this is progress, and that is why I have confidence for this tournament too. I'm telling people, like, hey, I'm going to get a GM norm in this tournament. And the reason I have so much confidence is I know I put in that work. I know what I got to do. I already know I could beat GMs. I've been beating GMs forever. Not forever, but for a very long time. Consistency was a problem, and that is where sleep and not engaging in extracurricular activities is going to be very important. And I'll get into some more of this stuff kind of throughout this section. So, yeah, openings, everything is planned. Everything is good to go. Okay, not good to go yet, but we're compiling the spreadsheet. Basically, we've gone through everything. We've gone through every single opening that I need to worry about for this tournament. I just need to now refine all the files, put all the files together, work with Richard to come up with a plan. Man, I got to train. And this week I'm actually getting, this actually just got in my head, but I'm getting a lot of training in with my training partners. Doing a lot of training with these guys. I'm going to get a lot of games in, which is why I need to finish compiling everything and putting things together so the games are going to be more effective. So I'm pretty much tomorrow, I got to wake up early, got to go donate to Branan, and then just hit chess hard. I was thinking I'd get a haircut. Might do it Wednesday, depending on how things are looking. But we'll see. Anyway, back to the real chess. Yeah, training. Definitely psychology is very important. Knowing the player archetypes. Fighting helped me with this a lot. Just like, and it's not even like fighting. It was actually like betting on fighters. Because I could basically, when you're betting on fighters, you never know for sure what's gonna happen. But you know, against this type of guy, this guy's super effective. Or against this type of guy, if this guy does this, he has a better chance of winning. And there's so many times, like, you'll play someone in chess who's really good at endgames, and then you go to an endgame. Or someone who's really good at attacking, and you pick an attacking opening or attacking position to play against them. And, like, when fighters do that, I'm like, is this guy an idiot? But then I think about it, and I'm like, wow, I did this so many times in chess. Like, they'll always be like, if this guy took this guy to the ground, he would submit him, or he wouldn't get knocked out, and he would probably win. And then he goes and throws hands and gets knocked out, and you're like, this guy's an idiot. But how many times have I done that in chess? So I've really learned from that, and this is why doing so many different things the last 2-3 years, I think, has really helped me and got me ready for what's going to happen this summer. I've learned so many different lessons from all these different things. And I will probably summarize this at the end. Once again, I'm not a master yet at those. I'm trying to master myself. But I've learned a lot of different lessons from the different things I've done. Stand-up, jiu-jitsu, boxing, teaching chess, betting on fights, like everything I've been learning from, and that's really where I'm developing into this final product. Okay, so player archetypes. Okay, pairings. This is actually a really cool idea that I'm really excited about, and it's going to be interesting. So I run tournaments. I have pairing software, And something that we always hate during chess tournaments is the pairings come out last minute, or like after the night round, they could send the pairings, but they wait till the next day, and they basically post them like an hour before the round, and everyone's like rushing, or they post them like 10 minutes before the round, and everyone's like, oh, who am I gonna play? Who's this? Well, I realized I can just do the pairings myself. I can literally take my computer, put in all the results, factor in the buys, and especially what's even better is if I'm doing well, I don't even have to worry about the whole bottom half of the section. I can just do the results for the top, maybe the top 20 people, top 30 people. So I'm going to see how this goes. Once again, I've never done this before, but the pairing should be either the exact same as what my software says, or at least very, very close. So with that in mind, I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to get every advantage and every edge that I can during this tournament. Of course, everything legal. I work too hard. There's absolutely no way I would cheat. That would be the saddest way to get this. I've been through so much. I'm working hard. That is why I'm going to achieve my goals this summer. So yeah, pairings are good. Another one, my favorite one, is I'm literally going to lock myself in the room. This is my plan. I'm going to go to the tournament. I'm going to play my round. This is where it can get dangerous. I'm going to go have dinner. I'm going to come back after. I'm going to leave before everyone leaves. I'm not waiting till everyone leaves. I'm going to eat my food, hang out for maybe 10 minutes, and then leave ASAP. Before it's like we're hanging out, we're doing things. I will hang out in my room, watching Family Guy, studying chess, going through things, watching fights. That's how I'm going to be killing my time. I don't want to stay out late. I know I haven't seen you guys in a long time. My homies, which is why I'm going to go to dinner. I'm not going to be a complete, hermit. I'm not going to be a complete hermit or a social non-butterfly and just like order food, go downstairs and come back up. I will hang out a little bit, but I'm leaving early. I'm going to wake up early, run, get a workout in, do my preparation before the game, go to the game in the morning, finish the game, eat lunch, then come back, do preparation, play the game, and then repeat. There's a clear-cut plan for what I'm doing during this tournament. After the tournament, I'll do whatever I want. Like, I'm not like in a attacking way or whatever. Like, I can have fun after. I can hang out, do whatever. I'm leaving in the afternoon the next day, so I can be up late Monday night. So whatever fun you want to do, we can do it then. But I will literally be in my room. And another thing is, people come to the room, y'all gotta leave at like 12, like something like maybe even 11 to be safe. I don't know. Once again, it's new, so we'll kind of play it by ear. But by 12, like, y'all find another room to have fun and party and do whatever you want to do in. Because I've done too much. I've worked too hard. I'm not gonna lose because of some shenanigans on the side. Like this, I'm fully in. Like, I'm fully committed to this tournament and all the tournaments this summer. And maybe this is what chess has been waiting for me to do before I really. I mean, not that I'm bad right now, but like before I get to the next level. And then this mindset is how I will apply to whatever I do after my summer of chess or whatever I do later on in life, which I'm really glad that I'm making progress getting there, which I think is very important. Another thing that I think is very important is getting to the game on time. So here's the problem with getting to the game on time or early. Like, grandmasters normally walk in 5, 10, 15 minutes late, because if they get there and they sit at the board, random people just start talking to them. They're just like, hey, well, what do you think about cell phones? Like, what do you think about batteries? Like, it's annoying, but I don't ever want to start the game with less time on my clock. I'm just, once again, giving my opponent unnecessary advantage. Like, if you're in time pressure and you show up 10 minutes late, okay, it wouldn't be a direct correlation where it's like you speed up a little bit because you have less time, so you're probably going to catch up or if you're way on time. But why am I just giving you free 10 minutes? That's just silly. That's like, you could try to make an argument for like there's a reason for that, but I don't understand it. Basically, what you're saying is I don't need 10 minutes, I can still beat you. And this is another big thing with the tournament. Whoever I am sitting across from me, I'm going to respect them, respect their ability until the game is over. Until the game is over, I will take this game as seriously as possible. So, no, like, I'm playing down so I can do whatever this game. I'm going to play whatever opening. I'm going to just go with the flow, go with the moment. Like, I'm going to try my best to win. I'm going to win in the best way possible that I think suits my strengths and combats your weaknesses or attacks your weaknesses. Take it very seriously. This is how you live as a professional and how it should be, I believe, too. Yeah, so I already said this, not getting up during the game, working out. Okay, eating is also another important thing. So not like take away the whole like social side of like staying out late or like doing this, doing that. But I was thinking like, what kind of food am I going to eat during the tournament? Because I don't want to be too full and I don't want to be lacking energy or lacking like, nutrition. So I definitely was thinking, because I don't think there's any like grocery store really close by, and maybe someone has a car, maybe they don't. But I was probably going to buy some granola bars to eat during the game, or especially like after 3 hours, 4 hours. I'm not going to snack too much because then it just gets distracting or annoying, or like I'll get too full. But I need to be a well-oiled machine ready for battle. So I will definitely take granola bars. Now for dinner and lunch, I'm thinking, and then this is just kind of off the cuff, but dinner I probably eat more carbs. That way I have energy the next day. And then for lunch, I eat pretty light. I'm not going to eat like Subway with a bunch of mayonnaise and a bunch of like this and that and all this stuff. I'm not going to eat very spicy because then the risk is I have to go to the bathroom during the game. The things you do for love. So lunch is going to be more light. I think I'm going to try to avoid carbs for lunch. Like no bread. I'm going to try to eat chicken, broccoli, whatever, like Brussels sprouts, like whatever they have, like fish, and then high quality food. Not that Subway isn't high quality, and maybe I'll go to Subway here and there, but I'm really just going to try to be conscious of what I eat and my mind during the game, because once again, I'm trying to get every advantage I can because I have big goals and I have a lot of rating that I need to gain, and that means that wherever I can be more efficient and be better, that is what I'm going to do. And I think it is very clear from the things that I've gone through in this list for chess training. So that is pretty much what my chess training has been like and what my thought process has been going into the tournament, without revealing my openings or revealing this or revealing too much of what I'm going to do. There's actually more that I'm doing, but I don't want to say it till the summer is over, because then I don't want other people doing it too, or other people copying my idea and then using it against me. So this is as much as I can say for now, and we'll see how it goes. By the next podcast, we'll have an answer on how did Chicago go. So that is it. Next, I'll talk about my students and then the Miami Heat. All right, so before I talk about chess students, I want to add one more thing that I am doing for the tournament is I'm training with a lot of training partners. I actually don't even know if I should say their names, but I'm going to say one, one for speed. Actually, I think I already went through this, but basically like 4 or 5 different guys for different looks, for analysis too. Actually, last Wednesday, I did my first training with another guy, a new guy, and we played games 1 week, and the next week, or maybe the next day, we analyzed for like 3 hours, which I thought was really good and really helped me get a deep understanding of the position and not the game. Probably what I'm going to have to do is write down all this stuff. Take notes during, honestly, take notes during everything. That's kind of the story of life. Because once again, I said, like, my memory is not my strong suit. Like, even here, sometimes I'm forgetting random things. I forgot when I went to college. The years I went to college. That's insane. I'm pretty confident that I graduated high school in 2012 and went to college from 2012 to 2017. Okay? And that was 2020. The reason it feels so weird is 2023 now, which means that I finished going to college 6 years ago. What? I mean, I guess that makes sense. I'm about to turn 28. That would match the timeline. It's just like, whoa, 6 is a lot. Like 6 years ago, I was in college. I've been doing this for 6 years. Insane, right? All right. Anyway, so yeah, I've been training a lot with training partners. So adding that to the list above, which goes to highlight my bad memory. Now, chess students. Okay, so I might have said this, and I'm going to say this again and again and again and again, because this tournament was very good proof of this working. Like I said, I saw it a lot. People got winning positions and then ended up losing. Now, I watch a lot of fighting. I watch a lot of UFC, and I learned that the people or the group of fighters with the highest win to loss rate ratio, most wins and least losses, people who pretty much won like pretty much every fight that they fought, and then They get to the top and they fight someone really good and maybe they lose there. But in the beginning, they're running through everyone. And these people are Dagestani wrestlers, or Dagestani? Whatever. Dagestani wrestlers. And basically, they all have good hands. Some of them are strikers. Like Umar Nurmagomedov, great striker. Spinning kicks. Also, Said Nurmagomedov, great striker. A lot of spinning kicks. Another one, Zabit Sharapov. Very hard names, also another common thing. But also, once again, very good striker. But they all know how to take people down and control the fight. Control where the fight takes place, not get hit, and basically just cruise. They can always have the choice to cruise. And this is very important. And the reason they're so good is because they have that wrestling background. Now, I was thinking, how do I translate this to chess and to students? And endgames is taking someone to the ground. So basically, the difference between the endgame and other phases of chess is the queen is on the board. When the queen is on the board, there is always a threat of checkmate. Queens have a lot of power. There's the biggest piece. And that is why when queens are off the board, there's not as much of a threat of checkmate. Now, when you're playing and you're winning, if queens are still on the board, that's where you see a lot of comebacks. You see tactics, you see crazy positions. But the best way to guarantee a win is to not lose. So if you can get a winning position, which I said a lot of people did get, and then trade off and simplify and take away the threat of losing, you're not going to lose. You still have a very good chance of winning. Like, people are weakest. And actually, I wanted to get this. Well, I'll just do it now. But, like, people are the weakest where they have the least amount of experience. People have the least amount of experience in endgames. Because in the beginning of chess, it's just craziness. It's chaos. Pieces flying, checkmate here, checkmate there. Lucky checkmates, easy checkmates. So that's where people play the most. And as you get better and better and better, and then get to the best level, that's when you see endgames the most. Because your opponent's not going to just lose. You still see some knockouts, some checkmates here and there. But people are good at not losing as you get better and better. Now, a lot of people are always like, kids are so good. Kids are so dangerous. Kids are so good at chess. I'm scared of kids. Adults are scared of playing kids. Where do kids have the least amount of experience? If you think about it, it's going to be the end game. One, they've only been playing chess for so long, so they haven't got there as much. Another thing that I really like about playing against kids is playing offbeat openings that they're not used to, because once again, they're going to have less experience. Now they got to make decision making. The strength of adults, of grown-ups, of people with more experience is they make better decisions for the most part. Of course, there's going to be exceptions, but you're better at assessing risk and assessing what can happen and what can't happen. So if you can take away that knockout power that kids have in chess, so that basically the ability to checkmate or to find tactics very, very sharp and very well, then boom, it's a whole different game. And my students who won this tournament, they're under 1400 and under 1800, and even James and Chris Chambers, they all had success in the end game. Like James against Ethan, and he basically found a tactic and traded it down to an end game that he should have won. There was a crazy win at the end, but also some practical decisions he could have made earlier to avoid that, to just get an easier end game. But there was no risk at losing, and he was also low on time. And that's another thing. If you get in time pressure, it's much easier to play an end game. There's much less risk of something crazy happening, because time pressure is a whole nother thing. Like if you get in time pressure and it's a crazy position, it's damn near impossible to like figure everything out. But if it's an end game, you have a lot of leeway for you can do this, you can kill clock, and you see this with fighters too. When they're on the ground, they're not getting hit. You can relax for a sec. You can slowly progress. There's no rush to do anything. But when you're on the feet, any second you could get knocked out. A kick, a punch, an elbow, a knee, like these can come out of nowhere, and you see it. Like Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards is like the best example. He was cruising. He won enough rounds to not have to win the last one, and with a minute left, he gets head kicked into the shadow realm. So that is a perfect example of how you avoid losing winning positions and how you have an advantage against kids when they play chess. Take it to the end game. They're going to make more mistakes. They're going to be more impatient. They're also going to have less experience with it. and less strategy. And that's how you're going to win. I mean, that's the best path to victory, the easiest path to victory in terms of EV, expected value, and not losing. And I learned, like, if you want to get norms, if you want to make international master, grandmaster, you have to not lose. That is pretty much the most important thing. You're going to have to win games too, and that's going to be there. And I'm definitely not going to just take every game to the end game. But I'm going to have that option and that wrestling background if I need to make it happen. So I saw it this tournament. I'm going to see it again and again and again. The script is out. I'm telling you guys this, whoever's listening. If you can get good at end games and you can play kids or you get a winning position, it's going to make winning a lot easier and a lot less stressful. And as a coach, it's so much less stressful when you're winning and queens are off the board and you're just winning. Because I've seen it a bunch. So, like, you get a winning position, queens on the board, things happen, you get low on time, or like there's some tactic, and then boom, all of a sudden, I don't even know where this came from, but now you're losing, and then you know the rest from there. So yeah, very important, and something I've learned, and also something I've taken away from watching fighting and doing other things. Okay, now another one, and this one kind of hurts. So there was another tournament going on at the same time. And I have certain students who are very committed. They're like, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do my thing. I will be there. I will help you. I will support you. And it goes both ways. You do all this for me. I'm going to do everything in my power to get you good at chess. And the students who are very committed and could come on Saturday, came on Saturday. And it's not about like, you got to cancel something because it's a tournament and you have to play. Or like, whatever you do, you better be there at the tournament. But if you're free and you want to play tournaments and you're looking for tournaments, like the Saturday tournaments are some of the best in Georgia, for sure. Quality-wise, player-wise, strength-wise. And if you want to improve in chess and you're just free on Saturday, then you should play. Like, you 100% should play. Now, there were other students who are not as committed, who cancel for this or do this or always trying to switch up the times. These are all the same guys who either didn't come, or the worst one was just like, no, we're going to the other tournament. Like, you better, like, I don't want to say, like, hey, you should play this tournament. But if I'm teaching you, I'm driving all the way over there. I'm taking time to help you. I'm helping your kid improve. Like, in this case, specifically, one of the guys, he gained 500 points in 2 tournaments after we started. And ever since then, I've seen a lack of commitment, a lot of excuses, a lack of training. And then it's been dipping. And this is the guy who basically said, no, we're playing the other tournament, sorry. Or, like, something always comes up. And I try to think, like, why? Why would you do that? So there's basically 2 explanations I can think of. The one is you're lazy and you just don't want to drive that far. Because you did play a tournament. So you were free that Saturday. Or the other one is you're jealous of success, which has definitely been something I have been seeing. Certain people definitely could help, definitely could be part of this. It's not even help. It's like, we're growing something here. Like, you could be part of it, but you just choose not to. Maybe you're waiting to see, is this really legit, or is this going to all fall apart before you get invested or, like, become part of it, which I think is fair. Like, you take your time, do whatever you got to do. But there has definitely been some kind of tension that I feel with certain people. And maybe it's success, maybe I'm overthinking it. But my job is to think, so this is what I do. And then it's you can always tell what's going on too when everyone uses the same excuse. Like I was saying last week, or like last podcast, all the girls were like something family. This one, it's always school, some project came up. So once again, I don't want to call people out. I don't want to say anything. But if you are serious about helping your kid get better, helping your kid improve, then you should definitely play in these tournaments. They're made to help people improve, and like, it's working for a lot of people. People are improving. The adults I'm teaching have all had a good tournament, all like made progress, which is great to see. So yeah, I mean, I don't believe in coincidence is another big thing that I believe in. And when it's always the same people who lack commitment, who lack proper training, are the same people who don't show up or don't play or don't do this, it's not a coincidence. And the people who are working hard, who are doing their thing, are the people who play and the people who are successful. Now, of course, you could have a bad tournament. Other things can be going on. Or you could just have tough games. And this has happened to a couple of my students. They had tough games, and it's going to happen. But you work, you practice, you will have good tournaments. Like that commitment and that level of seriousness that you approach this with will be reflected eventually. And I've always seen it. And I've always seen the people who are dropping off and this is another kind of red flag that you see when people are all like, yo, I'm going to commit, I'm going to do everything. Like early on, they're like, dude, trust me, I'm going to do this. No problem. Like, this is it. Like, I'm all in. Like, I'm going to do this. People who do that, a lot of times start well, 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, and then drop off. Because I guess they just tried too hard, or they were trying to overcompensate and explain themselves, or I don't know. But I'm starting to see things. I've been doing this for 8 years. I have experience teaching. I've taught, like 20 students right now, but probably over the last years, I've maybe taught 100 different people how to play chess. At different levels, at different ethnicities, different genders. Another thing that I'm going to say is a lot of the guys who are showing lack of commitment or showing like making excuses and doing this are Indian. It's sad to see. I'm not going to say I don't like Indian people, but I understand them, I think, pretty well because I've been around them a long time. And ironically, like, none of the people I hang out right now are Indian. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's me too. I could be the problem. I think it was definitely the problem like 5 years ago, and I've made a lot of progress. But I'm saying the no-shows, the people who just want attention, the people who complain, people who judge, who pass judgment, a lot of time are Indian. And another thing I've noticed is a lot of time people who don't have the best character are always like out of shape. People get angry too fast. Not saying that people who are out of shape can't be good people or nice people, but I've never really seen someone who's like in really good shape that has bad character. Like that's definitely. I was having this conversation with Carter. Is it correlation or causation? And maybe it's just like coincidence. But once again, I said I don't believe in coincidences. So I don't know. That's just me. But okay, another thing. When you have really good, yeah, it's a very big segue or transition. But when you have really good end games, you know how to grind. You know how to fight. Like, you don't just give up. Because end games require energy and precision and work and effort. And that is the same thing with Dagestani wrestlers. Wrestling requires, I think, the most energy of all the subdivisions of fighting compared to striking, jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu might actually be something they'll use. But also, jiu-jitsu is a lot of wrestling too. And once again, all of these take immense amount of effort too. Not saying that one of them is like super easy and you don't have to do much. But wrestling, I think, is known to have the hardest cardio, the hardest training, and these guys are super tough. And all my students who take endgames very seriously, who know endgames, who are strong in endgames, are all very tough chess players. They're fighters. They don't give up. They do whatever they got to do to win. Like, they work hard. And once again, it's not a coincidence. Like, perfect example is Don from the tournament. Like, his last game. So actually, the kid he beat before took him to endgame. The person he played in the last game, he actually he missed a tactic. He was getting nervous, and this is actually great as a coach and as a friend to see. But I've seen him get like emotional and just be like, "Ah, man, I'm gonna lose. Next time I'll do it." But for this time, he's like, "All right, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight." And then his opponent made a mistake, and then he fought and he fought. And he even got a better endgame at the end, I think. Though it could have been worse as well. Or it was a draw. Basically, he fought back, he earned it, he got the draw, and he got his first place tournament finish. And that's what happens when you work endgame, when you actually work, when you take your losses like a man and you learn. Like, that's what you got to do. That's how you build character. Lose, learn, and work hard. That's why I tell everyone, work hard and attack your weaknesses. You will become better. This is like the 5th time I'm saying this throughout this podcast. For a reason. Okay, now another thing, and this is how I'll close my chess students section. Probably there's more. There's more things I could talk about, but I'm already been going on for a pretty long time now. But okay, I have this student who wants to do chess and boxing, and I can really tell, like, he doesn't really want to do chess. He wants to do just boxing. So I asked him today. I was like, "So do you want to do chess or do you just want to do boxing? And he's like, dude, let's just do boxing. So I was like, all right, we'll do boxing. So I sparred with him. We did offense and then defense. Offense and then defense. Started with a jab and then did a jab cross for sparring and then jab cross hook for sparring and then everything for sparring. We leveled up. One of his things is his back is weak. That's what he keeps telling me. So I told him to work out his back, and he said he has, and he's been getting better. But that's, I guess, the weak point in his in his journey. But I told him, attack your weaknesses, work out your back, and you'll get better and get stronger. Now another student who basically he comes from a very privileged family, very privileged house, and his mom does so much for him. She works really hard, and I think she babies him a little bit. So he kind of has this, like, I don't feel like doing it complex. Like, I don't want to do it. Like, do I have to do it? Like, whatever. He was actually, I walked in today, and he was pretending to be asleep. And his mom was like, he's not asleep. And I was like, yeah, let me go get a glass of water. And he smiled. And I was like, all right, he's not asleep. And at first he's like, yeah, he's tired and blah, blah, blah. And we did boxing, like real boxing for the first time. And basically the first round, we did 3 minutes. I let him just hit me. Just try to hit me. And, I mean, he's like 10 or 11. But, man, some of these punches, like, he's got some power. We also had, like, very small ounce gloves, so maybe that made it hurt more. But I was like, dude, if he hit me with some of these, it could hurt. And I blocked a lot of them, and, I mean, none of them were too bad. Like, never got hit or rocked or anything. But then the second round, which I think is very important for him, is I actually hit, like, I didn't hit him, and I do this to both students. Like, I don't actually hit kids. I don't believe in hitting kids. I don't want to hit kids. I'm not trying to go to jail or get some lawsuit. But you need to feel at least some kind of resistance. So I think for the first time ever, this kid got punched a little lightly to the body, a couple jabs to the face, no crosses, no hooks, nothing crazy. And then as a bonus for doing that, I let him do another round. Basically, I'm a punching bag, and he tries to hit me. So we basically he did 2 rounds of offense and 1 of defense. But I think for the first time in his life, he was ever hit. And then at the end of the lesson, for the first time, he was like, I'm not tired. I want to do more. And I was like, whoa, I'm on to something here. Like, there are certain people who walk around who give out this energy that they've never been punched in the face. That they basically think the world revolves around them. There's no respect. There's no... I'm not going to say professionalism because sometimes there's a lot of it. But there's no respect for everyone else. And when you've been punched in the face, and it's not been in a violent way, it's been in a trained, respectful way, you start getting respect for other people. And I think this kid, and actually what's funny, it's actually great after this, and it shows the level of commitment that changed after this, is his mom asked him, I was like, hey, well, there's a tournament in Chicago. You guys want to go? And then she was like, well, do you want to go? And he's like, yeah, I want to go. Let's go. He's basically trying to cross 1,400. He's at 1,390. He's been inching forward. He's been working, practicing. He's like, yeah, let's go to Chicago and get 1,400. And boom. I ain't saying getting punched in the face was good for him. And it's not like I clocked him in the face and knocked him out. Very far from that. Like, we literally did chess for 30 minutes after. That's how much he got hit. And he was happy. He was excited. And he wants to get 1,400 in Chicago. So I think it's very important. And maybe I should do this with all my students, especially the ones who lack commitment. Get some gloves and take some punches. Take some punches like a man. Learn. And you will have more respect for others, more respect for yourself. And I think that is why fighting is very important in a healthy, respectful environment. If you're just hitting other people and fighting and trying to hurt someone, you're not going to get that level of respect and discipline from it. Not that I am perfect, but once again, I always have to have this disclaimer, but I'm improving, I'm learning, and I'm trying to become a better person. And fighting, I think, is almost a cornerstone for it. I'm not going to say it's the central thing, but it's one of the most important aspects to me becoming, I would say, a better person, more respectful person to others. All right, so lastly, I'm going to talk about the Miami Heat because they're my team and they're killing it, and I'm so proud of them. But yes, that was the chess student section. On to the last one. All right, so lastly, I got to talk about this. The Miami Heat are, I'm not going to jinx it, but they're one game away from being in the NBA Finals. These guys were in the play-in game and lost the first game to Atlanta, of all teams. I'm a Hawks fan as well. They lost to the Hawks, And then they have to play the Bulls. And basically the winner gets to have the 8th seed as a reward. So they're down 10 in the fourth quarter. And Jimmy Butler, he's playing against his old team. They win this game. And this is how it all begins. Then they play the Bucks. The Bucks are the 1 seed with arguably the best player in the NBA, Giannis. I'm not even going to try to say his name right now. Yanni Vowels. That's the best way to put it. Basically, he goes at 1 game. Miami fights and claws, and they win that series, beating the 1 seed. Then they beat the Knicks. All right, let's be honest. They beat the Knicks. It's going to happen. That wasn't impressive. But that's when they started getting their confidence. You could tell. Because now, after beating the Knicks, I think another really cool thing is they have won game 1 on the road every single series. And they've been the underdog every series. That means people aren't taking them seriously, and they're letting them know that you better take us seriously. Because they are fighters. And this is what I love about Miami right now. But first, okay, they beat the Knicks. Then they're playing the Celtics. The Celtics are the 2 seed, the next best team in the East. And the NBA. I think they actually have the most talent and depth of the whole NBA. Like 1 through 8, every player is good. And they took them to the shed today. At home, game 3, up 2-0. So basically, if they win this, no team has ever come back from 3-0. And game 4 is at home, and they destroyed the Celtics. Like, the Celtics were supposed to come out like they're fighting for their lives. And Miami it's the way they play too. It reminds you of Spurs basketball. And 2 things. It's the coaching and the mentality. The Miami Heat are like a pack of wolves. I don't know if you know, but I love wolves. They are my animal. And what makes Miami a pack of wolves is they have 1 leader. I'm not gonna say 1 because Bam was saucing people today. He had a beautiful game. The spin move on Jaylen Brown was so fire, so nice. But Jimmy Butler is their leader, but he is a very unique and special leader where he does what the team needs. He encourages everyone. He passes the ball. He spreads the ball. He doesn't even care about assists. He'll be the guy who assists the guy who gets the assist, and he'll be happy about it. And when the team needs someone in the fourth quarter, Jimmy Butler is there for him. They are starting to make Kobe comparisons, which I take very seriously because I respect the hell out of Kobe Bryant. And I think it makes sense. Jimmy Butler could be basically Kobe Bryant. Or my next favorite, Dwayne Wade. He's basically Dwayne Wade. They're actually friends. I think I saw them go back and forth on Instagram once. But like Jimmy Butler has become that dude, that guy for Miami. And shout out to all these undrafted people or these like not so well known people who have really stepped up. Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, the GOAT Caleb Martin is killing it, dropping 20 the last 2 games. He basically won them game 2. Another stat that's really insane is Miami, I think, is like 6-2 or 5-2 when down 10 points in the fourth quarter. The rest of the NBA is like 1-53. These guys are true fighters. Now, the other person who gets all the credit and is the perfect example of why he should get a lot of credit is the coach, Eric Spoelstra. I watched the post-fight interview today, and all he could do was give credit to his players and the mentality and the things that they've done, the things they work on. And he was going through how they practiced deliberately. They needed Bam to score more points. They worked on offense with him. They needed Duncan Robinson to work on back screens and dribbling the ball. They worked on that with him, and it's evident. You can see both of them improve. There's multiple highlights of Duncan Robinson, who's a 3-point shooter, doing these back screen cutting and hitting a nice layup. That is like, it's beautiful coaching at its finest, and it's great to see. And like, I don't want to sound superstitious or say I don't know, connect things, but like, they are playing the way I am looking at chess right now. The way I have been. They're focused. Like, I think they asked Gabe Vincent, what are you going to do the night before the game? He said, I'm going to have an early dinner. I'm going to take an Epsom salt bath. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to go to bed. Like, that is exactly the kind of energy that I'm talking about. And it's like, is this happening because I am also doing this, or is like, am I doing this because of Miami, or like somehow it synced up. So I've always been a diehard Miami Heat fan. I'm a Heat fan for life, and I mean for now, I mean definitely after this, man, like I'm like proud of my team. Like actually, one of my friends is a Celtics fan, and he said they lost me this season. He's like, I just have no expectations for them. They are the 2 seed playing the 8 seed, and this man is like, the Celtics are broken right now. Like I watched the post-fight interview of their coach, and he's like, we got to be better. It's my fault. I'm sorry. I didn't have them ready. He's taking all the blame. He's like saying this, which is I think a good thing to do as a man, but it's a collective effort. And Charles Barkley was making a really good point about this. Like it's not the coach's fault. It's not Tatum's fault. It's not Jaylen Brown's fault. Like we made a mistake. Like it's all kind of their faults. And right now they're definitely hurt. They got embarrassed on the road. They're down 3-0 against the 8th seed when they were supposed to win. So I mean it's very hard to not be emotional and give like tough answers. Like also like why are people asking people questions after such a tough situation? Like imagine like your wife just died and then someone puts a mic in front of your face and like, how do you feel? Tell me about this. And then they ask the same question again and again. So, like, once again, this is why people go crazy and they shave their head. And Dana White's always attacking people who make fun of him or call him out. Because, like, dude, like, read the room. It's like the same guy was asking me, so what do you think about batteries? Like, when I'm, like, last minute hustling to get everything together before 10 o'clock. You just have to be, I guess, tactful and understanding of what's happening. And just learn and get better. Like, that's, once again, work hard and attack your weaknesses. And Miami has done that. They actually had a very subpar regular season. Like, I mean, they barely made the playoffs. But, and Spoelstra was saying a lot about this. It's the beauty and the struggle. It's what brought them together. Like, people stepped up. That's the team they have. Right now, they're playing without Tyler Hero and Victor Oladipo as well. The next best players outside of Bam and Jimmy. But all these other guys are stepping up, and they're a team. They are a pack of wolves. So I love to see it. It makes me proud, warms my heart, and that is how I would like to run East Atlanta Chess Championships and the club. Like a pack of wolves. We all take care of each other. We all help each other. We're just gonna work hard and support each other. And I think at some point there's gonna have to be some cuts. No one so far. But for people who are going to not have that kind of vision, or who would want to take away or be mad, like we definitely try to teach people and get people better. But once again, right now, that's not the way to end this. It was a great tournament. It was a great collective effort from everyone. Shout out to everyone that was involved, who supported, who came, who sponsored. Could not do it without you guys. We are the Miami Heat. We are a pack of wolves. We're going to work hard and get better and attack our weaknesses. So that is episode 37. Honestly, a great episode. I had a lot of fun doing this. I felt good. And we'll be back. So Chicago's next. I'm ready. I'm training. I got to get some sleep, and I got to get back to work tomorrow morning. Got to wake up early, do my thing, take care of business, and we'll be back. We'll be back after Chicago with some good results for sure. So that is it. Signing off. Hope you guys were entertained. Peace.